what to expect. 2024 is a unique year. This is the first year that we will be doing a presidential preference primary. We're in the middle of it right now as far as the election planning. Mail ballots have gone out. They went out January 8th. We are already collecting them, and they are coming back in the mail. So signature verification has started, and then on Monday, our live stream goes live, and we will start actually deconstructing them per NRS. So we're in the middle of that right now. The primary election will be Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, and the general election is Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. So unique year, having 3 elections this election cycle. The primary, I'm going to give you the difference between the primary and the caucus. I'm going to keep it pretty concise. This is probably the number one question that we get downstairs. Number one, where is Trump? Why is he not on my ballot? And we've been called some very fun and nasty names because people think that it's our fault that he's not on there. So we are, to make this year even more unique, we have a primary, a presidential preference primary, but we also have a caucus. The primary is run by the state. It is set by legislature that we have to have a state-run primary for the president on the first Tuesday in February. The candidates filed back in October of 2023 with the Secretary of State's office. So anyone that you see on your presidential preference ballot, whether Republican or Democrat, they filed back in October 2023. That is why you see candidates on your ballot that have suspended their campaigns, but they're still on your presidential preference primary ballot. It was too late for us to remove the names per state law. The results are not binding. By that, I mean that the results will be canvassed, as are all other elections. I will bring that before this Board of Commissioners on February 15th at the end of that meeting, and then I will take those results and send them to the Secretary of State's office, who will then certify them and provide them to the Republican Party. However, let's move on to what a caucus is. A caucus is a meeting of the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. The Republicans have chosen to continue with their caucus even though the legislature said we're doing a primary. That is their right. The Republican Party is a private organization, and the last thing we want is the government telling a private organization how they are to do business. So the Republican Party will be continuing to have their caucus. The primary is on February 6th. That's a Tuesday. We have early voting, we have mail ballots, and we have Election Day on Tuesday, February 6th, like every other election. The caucus is on Thursday, February 8th at 5 p.m. to 7:30. You must show up in person, you must have ID, and you must find out where your location is. Because my office is not in charge of that, I don't have a slide that says where the precincts are, precinct locations are, that kind of thing. But you can call the Republican Party headquarters and they will give you that information. We have been directing people to the Nevada GOP website and handing out the phone number for those that are interested in voting for their candidate who is not on our primary but is instead on the caucus. I will also say, the caucus is not a state-run election, therefore, you can vote in both. It is not double voting, which is also incredibly confusing to people. We have been hounding them. You can't send in your ballot and go vote in person. And now we're saying, oh, but this is different because the caucus is not run by the state. So the only election that is going to give you vote credit is the primary presidential preference primary. The caucus is run strictly by the party. They do not submit any results to the state. They do not tell us who was there. It is absolutely their thing, for lack of a better word. So just hopefully that clears things up. But I just wanted to make sure I put that in here so that I could get that information out. The presidential preference primary is a closed election. It includes only the major parties, which is Democrat and Republican. So if anyone in the is a registered voter that is not a Democrat or a Republican, they will not be receiving a ballot at all. Sample ballots were sent out on December 28th. It's also posted on our website, govotedouglas.com. Mail ballots were mailed on January 8th. And then the difference with the presidential preference primary and the other elections is it is written into the state law that there's only 1 week of early voting. So a little reprieve for my office. So early voting is January 27th through February 2nd. The primary election is June 11th, 2024. It's always the second Tuesday in June. It is also a closed election, which means there's a Democrat ballot, a Republican ballot, and a nonpartisan. So anyone that is filed Independent, Libertarian, Green Party, any of those nonpartisan, they will receive a nonpartisan ballot. It will include the local races for any type of runoff that we have, if there are multiple Republicans or multiple Democrats that file for office. It includes state, county, and local races. And many county offices are determined in this election. So the majority of people that file in Douglas County are Republicans as far as commissioner, assessor, clerk, treasurer. So typically in this, this is the race that determines which one will go forward to the general ballot, and typically there's only one come the general ballot. Additionally, which I'm going to talk about this further, but if there are 3 seats and 3 people file, they are declared elected and do not have to be on the ballot for certain races. But certain races, they have to go on the general ballot and receive at least 1 vote. So, the last election this year will be November 5th, 2024. This is the ballot that everyone will receive the same ballot as far as the state and federal races. The only difference on each ballot will be the districts that you receive on your ballot, dependent upon what district you live in, precinct-based. I do want to mention, which I might have already done, the live stream will be in effect again this year. We live stream our election rooms and the board chambers effective as soon as you guys vacate today. I take over the chambers until after we are done canvass and bring it forward, bring the presidential preference primary forward to canvass the election on February 15th. We will be live streaming all of our rooms, the deconstruction, ballot deconstruction, signature verification, all of those rooms will be live streamed. It's on the Douglas County YouTube channel is where you can find it. The link does reset every 24 hours. It's just something that they have to do with YouTube, so a lot of people will keep the link open and then the next day it's not working. Just go back to the Douglas County YouTube page and you'll be able to find it. And that starts on Monday. Candidate filing. We already did judicial candidates. That was January 2nd through 12th. We have 2 seats that are open, the Justice of the Peace for East Fork Township and Justice of the Peace for Tahoe Township. Those are, that candidate filing is closed. The non-judicial candidates will be March 4th through 15th, 2024. It includes state, county, and local races. And I did include an attachment for the offices that are up for election in the agenda item. It's also posted on our website at govotedouglas.com. GID offices, and this is really what started the conversation with Commissioner Hales and myself when we were talking about Elk Point Sanitation District coming before you guys. We were really talking about the GID offices and filing for candidacy and what their responsibility is. So I wanted to make sure that I put a couple slides in here to hopefully give information on not only you, but also to those that are on those boards. I'm not sure that they're even clear on the necessity of them to file for candidacy and be on the ballot and give the people the right to choose who represents them in those districts. So GID offices, which are General Improvement District offices, are overseen by NRS, Nevada Revised Statute 318. It clearly identifies a qualified elector as an active registered voter in that district. Because of that definition, it means that anyone that applies for or sits on that board or is appointed to that board has to be a Douglas County active registered voter that is registered to vote in the district which they are applying for. The district also pays for their portion of the election. I think that this is also something that most people don't know. It's written into state law, Nevada Revised Statute. At the end of the election, we categorize how much the election cost for, in total, to include election workers, the ballots, all of the things that go into each election. And then we portion it out to the amount of people that are in that district. And if they are on the ballot, so I'll just take Gardnerville Rancho's GID. If they have people that are actually on the ballot, then they will have to pay their portion of the county running the election for that district, because we are doing it for that district, so they do pay that portion. Currently, there are 24 GIDs with 75 offices up for election in 2024. If only the number of candidates file as there are open seats, the candidates will be declared elected, which I already kind of talked about. 9 of the 24 districts continue to appoint and circumvent the election process. So the reason that we have 24 GIDs and 75 offices up for election is because when these GIDs continue to appoint someone, they're appointing for a 2-year to fill in the gap until that next election. So that means that the GIDs that continue to appoint every single time, all 5 of their board members are up for election because they just appoint them every 2 years. And we do keep a comprehensive spreadsheet, and it goes back, I want to say, to the early 90s. It's something that was in place prior to me taking office, and we've continued to use. Every time someone is appointed to a board, elected to a board, we keep that spreadsheet. So I do have a list of the GIDs that continue to do it over and over in front of me, if you guys are interested in hearing which ones they are. Cave Rock GID has 2 that they continue to appoint. Lake Ridge GID has 2. Logan Creek has 3. Sierra Estates continues to appoint all 5. Oliver Park continues to appoint all 5. Skyland, 4. Tahoe Douglas Sewer has 2, and Zephyr Knolls continues to appoint all 5. And of course, we already, the Elk Point Sanitation District was one of those that continued to appoint over and over. They obviously, that situation has been rectified, so I took them off the list. Why file for candidacy? We kind of already went through this. It's a vetting process. When you file for candidacy, my office is going to ensure that you are a qualified elector in the district. It's a permanent record for the future of the county and the districts, because we do record those oaths with the county recorder. Appointments are deemed necessary per NRS to fill vacancies, not to elect representation for the people, and it provides a voice for the people.